So I'm Chris Connor, the president of Franchise Marketing Systems, and we are here today with Laura Hernandez and Jen Sinconis, the co-founders of Turquoise Wine Bar, the franchise brand, and the wine bar. The discussion here today is basically to learn more about Turquoise and hear the story, how we have gotten here to this point, from beginning all the way into the franchise model, and really just to help educate other business owners and people about what this process, what your thinking, your strategy has been in franchising Turquoise, and a bit about the journey that you've gone through up to this point, because you have done an amazing job in transitioning this brand from a company-owned location and a one location, successful one location, into a franchise brand. I mean, we're on the verge here of becoming a national brand here with our presence and our new market growth. It is an amazing accomplishment, and I think so many people can benefit and be inspired by what you have done and what you're in doing now. So maybe Jen, if you could, would you mind telling us first, where did Turquoise come from? Tell us about the starting and how it began, and give us the introduction.
Absolutely. I'd love to, Chris. So Turquoise started in concept about 4.5, almost 5 years ago when I moved from Washington State to Arizona and was fortunate enough to move right next door to Laura. So we are next door neighbors. That's how we met. We met in the middle of COVID. So it was one of those weird times in history where we would sit and have our little cul-de-sac wine gatherings out front and got to know each other. And one evening, Laura and her husband Dan and myself and my husband Justin were hanging out, and somehow the conversation ended up being, what would you do if you could do anything? And my answer was really quick and easy. I would open a wine bar. And the reason being is I come from wine country. We've moved to Arizona. There is nothing like that here. There is no wine bars. There's no great community space where people go and hang out and get to know each other and really connect. And as we kind of talked through this idea, and it became more of a reality, we realized that is what is missing in our society. We are missing a place that is about human connection. We also need great wine. So the two just went hand in hand because wine is all about connection. It's all about experiencing. When you have a glass of wine, it's less about just drinking. It is about, what are you drinking? Where did this come from? What's the story behind that bottle? Who is making this? It is really comes down to a farmer, you know? So that connection, as well as who are you with and what is the experience happening? And that connection is something that we just weren't finding in our society right now. So the idea of Turquoise was born. We built this location. If you haven't been to one, it's really cute. It's very quaint. It's very cozy. It's warm gemstone themed color palette, crystal chandeliers, a little bit blingy, but it's really just meant to be a place where people come and connect. We don't have TVs. People come and talk to one another, and it really just took off. So from day one, our first store opened in 2022, and literally from day one, it was just absolutely crazy. People are like, "Oh my God, this is what we need in our life." Very quickly, it ramped up to becoming the community hub. Really, it's your third place. You've got your home, you've got your work, and you have your place that you go that is your location. And that's what it became for everybody in our neighborhood. So that's kind of the root of it all. And it's been a whirlwind. It's just taken off since then and gotten bigger and expanding all over the place. And really, it's just all about bringing people together and human connection.
That is so crazy. From a cul-de-sac wine hangout to fruition. That's wild.
Yes.
So cool. So cool. So the process of like finding the right location, permitting, construction, I mean, was that new to you? Had either of you been through that before?
Um, Everything we did was new to us at some point. So myself, my husband, Laura, her husband, Dan, we're all four corporate execs who basically said, you know what, we're done with this corporate life. We are ready to do something for ourselves. hung up that, corporate career and said, let's do this. The great thing is that with the four of us, we all have very different backgrounds, and those backgrounds really help to make it a fully functioning business that is able to sustain and to grow. So, my background is all in creative management, brand management, how to build and grow a brand. Laura is all in retail. So, retail organization, how to hire, how to fire, how to build an organization that is scalable, multi-unit management. So, she's got a million, areas of expertise that falls within that. Dan has been in commercial operations, so Copper Point Insurance, and he was able to come in and really be kind of that guiding structure of Laura and I have all these big ideas, and Dan holds us, and he's the glue that holds us together and keeps us grounded. And then my husband Justin's actually in commercial construction. So he did have some background with how to build and how to get those permits done, and then how to put that process in place for something that is scalable in the future.
That's great. Well, I can say from working with you both, I mean, you have got such a great dynamic. I'm sure there's moments where not everything is perfectly agreeable, but you manage it, you communicate well, and the end result is a really powerful, as you said, diverse background. Each of you brings multiple talents to it. It's turned out to be a really great dynamic between you, and then I've experienced it on our side, and I'm sure franchisees are as well. So we open up. How long do we run this before we start thinking about the idea of growing it? When does that come around?
It was funny. We were actually on an airplane to Paso Robles, and it probably was in 2020, late 23, 24. And I had made a notes in my phone, and it was like what we could do if we franchised, what we would offer, right? We could have the training models, and we could have the HR training and the operations. And I was like, what a franchisee would get. And so we really started dabbling in that because at the same time, we wanted to grow and expand. And every customer that we met was like, oh, we need one in our area. We need one in my neighborhood. And I need one in Texas. And I need one in Vegas. And we were like, okay, all my multi-unit experience, I knew that if I went out and opened them all and hired managers, it wasn't going to be the same impact. So that's when we really just started to franchise. The idea of what do we do? We could franchise. Owners, I used to always use the phrase, I need owners, not caretakers, when I was running, brands across the country. And the whole point of it was anyone can unlock the door and lock the door at night. Like that's not what we needed. We needed somebody who truly cared about the business and cared about the customer connection as much as we did. And that's why we went franchise because we said, we'll be the guiding force. We'll still give them direction and guidance and help them be successful, but they're the owners and they've got skin in the game and they want it to be successful as much as we do. And that's kind of how we decided to launch the franchise world. And then we met your team and we met Anthony, we met you and Tim and Devin, and everybody was fabulous. And we were like, okay, this is what we've got to do.
Thank you. Well, I mean, so much you deserve so much kudos and absolute just incredible courage that it takes not only to go from a cul-de-sac wine party to starting a business, taking those steps, but then to transition into franchising too. There's not many entrepreneurs, I think, that even feel like they're capable of doing it or realize that it's a possible thing to do. And maybe this is where having all of your different backgrounds really helped lend itself to seeing that path. This is not a cut and dry business. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts. Part of it is creating the atmosphere and the experience, but the number of employees, all those things. Where did you start, and how did you get to this point where you have this package that you can teach and train people how to run this the same way that you do? Could you take us through the system side of it?
Yeah, so we really did, like Jen said, we all have such diverse backgrounds that we really put that all obviously started on paper, laying it out. What would somebody need? Because what we found is our corporation is perfect for somebody who's like corporate exec, wants to hang up their corporate world, got a little bit of business background, a little bit of income, and wants to come in and do something. They're not ready to sit on the couch, we say. But at the same time, they may not have hired someone in their career. They may not know what you can and can't ask in an interview. They may not have any idea how to do social media. They may not know about branding, like all those things in the construction piece and the operations. So we really put it all on paper and then we really dove into what does somebody need. And obviously, every time we get a new franchisee, we're learning what they need and what they know and what they don't know. And everyone's different, their background's different. So we really did that. We've actually put it into like an online portal We've created everything from the wine education. Wine is probably our biggest, training level in terms of people understanding it. They don't have to be sommeliers. We are sommeliers. We will train them on that, but they have to like wine. So they have to have a passion for wine. And then we provide a lot of the training. We provide the training for the food, all the back of house operations. Our model is super simple when it comes to the kitchen. It's a cold kitchen. We don't have raw meat. We'll never have a hamburger or steak, but we have pizza and salad and flatbreads. But if you can read our cute little recipe card, you can do our kitchen. So we've got that. Then we've got all of the operations. So the operations, everything falls into that. Finance, how to read a P&L, how to know if you're profitable, how to know how much money you can spend on your cost of goods sold every week. What does that look like? How to know what you can do from a sales plan. Your team needs a sales plan every day. You have to have targets, you have to have goals, you have to have KPI levers, and we really have built most of that out. So now we have an online portal that is for our franchisees, and it's called TEX, TEX, which is the Employee Exchange. And we've put that out there because that's where they'll find their forms. That's where they'll find their training, whether it's our POS system, whether it's wine, whether it's food, whether it's how do I interview? What are the job descriptions for the people I need in my business? Who are those people? We've got all that out there. So when you come on, we'll be like, here's the 4 people you need, because it's not a big, staff model. It's a very small staff model, but you need a wine enthusiast. We don't have servers. You'll need a wine manager who runs the wine experience. And this could be the owner, it could be a manager. You'll need somebody who's the back of house lead. You'll need somebody who does your social media. As an owner, you can take on all those roles, but you really want to get people on board to help you and give them a little authority. And that's how you grow and develop a team who want to take ownership and can be with you for a long time. We have a lot of the same staff we brought on 3.5 years ago. And we ran it ourselves for the first year and a half, 2 years. And then we started bringing on one of our very first employees was 16 years old, and Paris is her name. She's still with us. Now she's on to college and she does our social media remotely because she knows the brand. She knows what we need to do. So our manager works with her and they get it all going. So it's really about getting it all into one place, figuring out what people need. And that's ever changing. Like every time we come across a new franchisee who doesn't know something, we're like, oh, we got to get that in the training. So we're constantly updating, we're constantly working through things and trying to make sure that we have all the tools that they need, as well as being available as well.
You have done an incredible job with that. I've seen it firsthand with every time we talk, it's like a new system, a new process, new documentation in place. One thing that I think strikes me about Turquoise, the brand, and really the whole industry segment when we're talking about wine, generally speaking, when you think of franchising, you think of kind of more like fast food type things. And I think these were some of the discussions that we had early on. Um, you've done a great job carrying forward a high-end, much more premium brand positioning in the franchise space, which you don't see all that often.
Mhm.
How have you done that? How has that played a role not only in how you have taken this forward with the systems and the model, but also in who you've looked for and the type of people that you're aiming to bring in? How does that play a role in things and keeping the high-end brand positioning?
Well, I'll let Jen say, but I will tell you at the end of the day, when I first met Jen, I didn't know a lot about wine, and my husband didn't know a lot about wine. So we're from, the west side of Phoenix, Arizona. There's not a lot of wine. There's no vineyards. There's nothing like that. So we're good guinea pigs because we've had to learn it. And now my husband and Jen are the sommeliers. They're the wine buyers. They're doing all that. But it's kind of that whole model of it can be taught. It doesn't have to be, something that you go to school for 20 years to learn. But I'll let Jen take it.
Yeah, it is. First of all, that's a great compliment, Chris. That is such a nice way to introduce the brand. And we agree there is this level of kind of premium, a little glitz and glam behind the idea of being a wine bar owner, right? So what we've done is we've really curated a list of wines that fit within a philosophy that is our brand philosophy of all of our wine is boutique, small lot. So we look for things that are not mass produced, things you're not going to find in your local big box stores, your grocery stores, your Costco's, Total Wines, anything like that. So we want wine that drives community and connection. So we're looking for the story behind it. So we are making relationships with these winemakers, with these distributors, with these importers. We get to know them. We know the stories behind them. So that already is going to bring a level of connection to the product that you just don't get get by shopping wine. It's not about just going to the store and picking something up. It's about really understanding what you're consuming and who made it and where it comes from and everything behind it. So, our wine philosophy is really important. We do set a menu for our wines. So, we've got we're just about to launch our 2026 lineup of wines. We've spent the last 5 months curating the list for 2026. And, before we know it, we'll be working on 2027. But these are wines we feel really good about. They are sustainably grown. A lot of them are organic. A lot of them are biodynamic. We have a lot of women winemakers, which is a small percentage of the wine world. We have a lot of family-owned estates. So we really can get in and talk about this wine and help people develop a connection and an understanding and appreciation of what they're drinking. But we are doing that back end work. Our franchisees are going to come in and have all the tools laid out for them. Every wine we carry will have a wine information sheet. You're going to have information. You're going to know that story. We're doing podcasts with the winemakers. You're going to get a chance to listen to this winemaker talk. And then when they're in town, which happens usually once a year, they're going to come do an event at your store. We're going to make that connection happen. And one of the coolest things we do is wine travel. So we started traveling a couple years ago. We travel as a group so we can go make these relationships, source these wines, find the great hidden gems out there. But we also now travel with our customers. So our wine club has traveled up the Rhone River in the south of France with us. We spent a week in a villa on a vineyard in Tuscany. In just a couple months, we're headed to Germany and Switzerland to do the Rhine River. 2027, we already have a trip planned to Bordeaux. So it's actually a wine themed river cruise. So we have these great experiences that customers can actually purchase the tickets and come with us. And our franchisees, when they sell the travel, they can earn the ability to get their room for free on the trip. So really fun, glamorous, posh business opportunity that comes with that. So in terms of having that premium brand comes with experience. It needs to be experiential. So we look at that every step of the way in this process. It is the actual store location. How does it feel? How do you feel when you're in it? It's the product you're consuming, and how does that product benefit you? How is it good for you? How is it good for the environment? It is the experiences outside the shop. What is that community, and how does that community actually still function when it's outside of your shop? How does that wine club continue to grow and connect? What are the travel opportunities that take you to the next step of, hey, I can also do this? You really want that well-rounded experience and connection, and that's what makes a premium brand, is that next level experience, next level connection, and that's what Turquoise is bringing, and that's why the franchisees that are drawn to Turquoise tend to be, like Laura said, the corporate execs. They've done their job, they've built their career. Those people come with a ton of expertise in all different areas, but they also come with a little, ego, rightly earned ego. They have done their job, they've done really well. They don't want to take the next step and take a step down. You need
Yeah.
to take a lateral next step. You need a premium job, but you need it to be something you can have fun with and be passionate about and make those connections. Nobody wants to go from a C-level position to I'm now installing window blinds.
Right.
They want to say, hey, I'm the owner of the wine bar. I'm going to all the restaurant grand openings. I'm going to all the distribution tastings. I'm meeting and tasting wine. I'm meeting my community. I'm traveling to wine regions. Those are the types of jobs that appeal to that level of personality type. And Turquoise is a really good fit for that.
That's great. And I love the travel component. That is such a cool element,
Mhm.
differentiator, and it plays into this lifestyle presentation perfectly well. So Laura, you mentioned the west side of Phoenix,
Mhm.
that this is not like the wine mecca
Yes.
of the country. And obviously it's worked great.
Yeah.
Where else have we gone into now with franchisees? What markets? Are there market characteristics that we look for? Talk to us a little bit about the different areas that we've targeted and that franchisees are opening in now.
Okay, so we really are looking for neighborhoods. We're looking for that community feel. We don't want to be, maybe downtown where it's just tourists or passerbys. We want to be where people live. We want to be in about 100,000 people. That's really kind of the perfect number in terms of population. So right now we have locations. Our location's in Glendale, Arizona, which is on the west side of Phoenix by the Cardinal Stadium. We now have someone going into Tucson. We are opening in Surprise, which is a little further west. We have someone going north, which is North Peoria, which is kind of north of our location. And then we have our Roosevelt Row location, which is a little bit more central Phoenix. She's been open for about 3 months now, doing phenomenal. She loves it. And she was a senior VP of Bank of America. So just walked away from that and came on, and now she knows what she knows and has taken her experience and really driven that to the next level. So that's been fun to see. And now we're opening in Texas. So I have two locations in North Houston, one in Cypress, one in the Woodlands. So those locations they're out looking for their perfect spot right now. But by the middle of the month, we probably should have 8 locations up and running. We've got someone looking in the east side, which is Chandler and Scottsdale, and we're Austin, Texas. We're visiting them. So we're really looking right now, Texas, Arizona. We think Nevada would be a great market, trying to stay a little close to home, but we're open. We've got someone looking in Florida. Like, we're open to that. We'll really have to look next year and see where we do register and what, markets we want to take on. But I think it's just really that home away from home, like Jen said, it's your third place. So you've got to be close to home. You've got to be in community. It's not a once a month thing, it's a once a week thing. So you want people who are going to come in. It's really their spot. They know you, you know them. We say it's the modern day Cheers. It really is, where
Yeah.
everybody comes in and they walk in and like, hey, how are you?
Sure.
We do a Sunday social where the wine club comes in and the goal is to get to know each other. Now there's about 20 of them, and they come every time we do an event once a month on a Sunday, and somebody will walk in and they literally will applaud because they'll be like, "Oh, Joyce is here. Oh, Bob is here. Oh, So it's that kind of community where we keep driving that so that they continue to connect, they continue to learn and meet other people.
That's awesome. You have done a such a great job in so many different pieces, but also with the recruitment side. And one word that I would use to describe you both is just relentless. It has been so impressive to see what you've done in promoting the brand and getting out there, engaging with people, and with putting out news content and content on the brand. Could you speak to a little bit about how you have found franchisees? What have you done for marketing? Where have the franchisees come from? Take us through a little bit of what you've done on the marketing side, if you would.
Okay, so we've done a lot of it's word of mouth. We have done paid media, and we've partnered with different broker organizations. And, when that person understands your brand, we've got one broker who sold three, like they get it. They understand the brand. They know exactly what we talked about today. They're out there finding the right connection. So we do partner with brokers. We do partner with on social media. We have a networking team that really will follow up. But at the end of the day, they meet us and we take them through the process. We take them through our whole business model. We talk about all of our different revenue streams, and we really make sure we interview them as much as they interview us. And I think that's been critical for us because we've actually had people say, "You guys are the only franchise people I've talked to that haven't tried to sell me something." And it's because we're trying to figure out if you're the right fit for us too, because we don't want locations to open. We want locations to be successful.
Mhm.
And we're not going to be successful if they're not successful. So if somebody's not the right fit, then it doesn't work and we wish them well and we move on to the next candidate. But it's really about finding the right person, the right fit. And like I said, they have to be relentless too, right? They have to be positive and know what I tell them is you got to know the brand is right and the market you're wanting to go in is right. We figure all the rest out. We will help you with the inside of everything that happens inside that building. You just have to know that this is what's going to work in this community that you either live in or you're going to. Jen always makes the comment that when we first opened, we couldn't fail, right? We both were had bills to pay. My husband and I both went into this, right? So we had bills to pay. Jen had kids at home. Her kids were 16, now they're 19 in college. So we
Yeah.
just couldn't make it not successful. And that's when we continue to tweak it and work the model and change it up and add this and add that and really tried to make it be very, very successful, but very cohesive. But, we're finding people from all over. It has to be owner operator, or we have a couple people that have purchased 2 or 3 locations, and that's fine. It's just where the customer needs to know who the owner is, or you're there a couple days a week or they have that connection. You don't have to work it every day, but our hours are small. We're only open 1 to 8 and 1 to 9, 6 days a week. So we're barely open 40 hours a week and we can generate some decent volume out of those. So it's really about making sure that person wants to be there, wants to be engaged. But we're kind of finding, like we said, from corporate America, people who just, I do a lot on LinkedIn. If you follow us on LinkedIn, Jen said we've got a YouTube channel. If you follow us on YouTube, you'll see interviews that we've done about walking away from corporate America and what decisions we had to make and how we made it happen. Our website has a bunch of great information as well that just kind of, and we're on social media. We're on, Facebook, Instagram, all the things. But if you follow us, you'll get an idea of the feeling of the brand. And those are the people that just say, you know what, I want to do this. I'm not ready to sit on the couch and I want to keep working for another 20 years. And this is the perfect model. You open one, you get it successful. You open two, you open three, and you're still the face. And then you can do a lot of things when you have multiple locations that are close together. It's going to work out great. We have two in Tucson. She can share people. She can share products. She can share, it's going to be such a benefit to her. So we're just excited to see them all open and come to fruition.
It's
Yeah,
awesome.
and I think just to add on to that really quick, the reason that we are successful in pushing out the brand is because we really truly believe in the brand. Turquoise Wine Bar is such a great concept. It is working so well, and we are such believers of this is the right thing. This business model works. If you come in and you follow the structure that we've put in place, we have different revenue streams. They're going to help carry. We've got all of these things in place to really make it a functional, profitable business. And if you do those things, this is a brilliant business and it's really fun and exciting. So we just believe in it so much. And I think that's what people get excited about is because it's not just a job. It's not just a thing to go do. Like this is truly an amazing lifestyle brand that you can come in, you can replace your income and you can live this amazing like retirement work lifestyle that is just something really unique and special.
Yeah, I love the lifestyle positioning. I definitely can see that, and particularly when you're talking about the caliber of the people who have been coming in as franchisees, Bank of America executive, picturing that person flipping cheeseburgers in a fast food place, like it's going to be a long road to get them there. But
Right.
here, you're in this really high-end, exquisite, fun lifestyle environment. It's like that's a path that makes sense for that person and that caliber profile. Um,
Yeah.
Jen, in food service related businesses, staffing is always one of the big things. How do you manage that? How do you get the right people? How have you addressed that and worked with franchisees in getting their team in place? What does that look like with the franchisees to date?
So staffing obviously is, it's complicated. It can be hard. We do have a lot of franchisees that have come in and said, I'm really worried about staffing because I see, everybody complaining that they can't keep employees, they can't find employees. We actually have not had that problem. So I say this knowing this might not be everybody's situation, but for us and for every franchise so far in existence, people love being a part of the wine bar. They want to come work at a place where they feel the community connection, where it's not just a turn and burn. So, Laura mentioned earlier, we don't hire servers. We don't want people necessarily with restaurant experience because we are not a restaurant. We are a true community space. So, we hire wine enthusiasts. So, if you love wine, you want a fun place to come work at Turquoise. This is a lovely spot. You're going to know everybody that comes in. Yes, it is hard work. You're going to have deliverables, you have sales goals you have to hit, but it's not the same type of thing as working anywhere else, really. So we have not struggled in terms of finding employees. Our employees find us.
That's cool.
Yeah, we get a lot of emails and a lot of customers, right? Customers experience this and they say, "Hey, you're looking for somebody to work on the weekends," and it's a small. The business model for staffing is very small, so it's very part-time. Like I said, we've got like 3 or 4 people that have been with us since we opened. They're very part-time. They can bump up hours when it's busy. They can cut back when it's slow. And really looking at 5 or 6 part-time team, you really don't need a lot because as an owner, you're the one there the majority of the time. We're only open, our staffing model is only 12:30 to 8:30. So it's only an 8-hour day. So it's really not a lot. Now, granted, you have a lot to do at home or off hours and all that stuff to run the business, but really the actual model, we don't run on a ton of hours. It's not like restaurant. We don't have fry cooks. We don't have people in the back chefs. Everybody's cross-trained to do everything. So it's a very simple model to help wherever you need to step in.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, and all of those fit the scalable strategy and being able to create something that can be duplicated by the way that you've positioned it and structured it. Um, Laura, could you speak to the franchise structure, like franchise fees, royalties? You mentioned the territory size of around 100,000 population. Could you take us through some of what the franchise model entails and how the offer looks today?
Sure. So right now our franchise fee is $40,000 and that really covers everything that we've built and gives you the business in a box. We call it. We really do think it truly is that everything is in there. The royalties are only 6%, so that's what we collect. We're not here to get rich quick. It's obviously not a get rich quick for us, but it's about building the brand and building the infrastructure to create it across the country, right? And then we do have a 1% marketing fee, which is stuff that we take in and we do from a corporate standpoint to build the brand across the country, put things out there that are our brand, and just getting Turquoise Wine Bar known around the world. So that's kind of the basics. Sales can be phenomenal. The P&L is amazing. It really is. It's not restaurant profit either. Restaurants have very low profit margins because they have high staff and high. Our cost of goods sold is very easily maintained. It's a very low number, and it's really the profitability model is great for something like that.
That's excellent. Perfect. Well, th this has been phenomenal. I so appreciate you both taking the time to do this and
Yes, thank
introduce
you.
Turquoise and talk about your whole journey here from cul-de-sac to franchise model and growth into all these new markets. I can't tell you how much I have appreciated and loved our relationship together. So you've both have just been such a pleasure to work with and excited for that to continue on into the future here as you continue to grow and continue to build Turquoise together. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Chris. We appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks, Chris.